I'm Aiden, and across from me on the computer, virtually, is Matt. We're talking about the wild card weekend. A lot of stuff has happened in the NFL previous to the wild card, and since the wild card is finished, we're going to recap the games, talk about the coaching openings, and we'll see you on the other side. First game of the slate was Rams and Panthers. The Rams, they won, but the Panthers gave definitely a run for their money, which I don't think a lot of people were expecting. I think the spread was about 10 that game,
Yeah,
and the Panthers covered, and it was an interesting game. The Rams, I would say, for about 14 weeks of the season, they were the Super Bowl favorite. They looked unstoppable. Adams gets hurt, and now Stafford has a banged up finger. But what did you see from both sides during that game?
yeah. I mean, Stafford, they still looked good. Puka went for 10 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Definitely still looked great. Could have
Yeah.
had another touchdown if he didn't drop the ball.
You're considering that a drop?
Hit both of his hands.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean,
It was came at him quick, I think. I don't think he saw it fully.
I think it's
Um,
just a catch you'd expect Puka to
for
make at
sure,
this point.
100%. Yeah.
But either way, the Rams offense looked great. You know,
Yep.
Devontae still had a pretty good game, first game back from the injury.
Yep.
Puka obviously doing his thing.
Yeah.
The run game, I don't know if it really jumped off the page at all, but
Hmm.
Blake Corum and Kyron Williams both did their thing.
Yeah, absolutely. They spell each other well, for sure.
I mean, Bryce Young played great as well.
So that's an interesting thing because he obviously played very well. But it seems like all season for him and the Panthers, it was a lot of ups and a lot of downs. They got in because of another team losing, and they didn't really earn their way into the playoffs necessarily. So what do obviously they have the fifth year option available. I guess they
Yeah.
just exercise that and run it back, but it is a tough spot to be in because you don't want to be in a mediocre spot. And I
Yeah.
think Bryce definitely has improved for sure, but it's a interesting decision to make. I don't really know if there's an upgrade over him out there in free agency, so it doesn't hurt to run it back, but Bryce is an interesting quarterback in the sense that he was your first pick, so you don't want to give up on him too early, but he also hasn't shown, I think, enough talent where he should be getting one of the highest extensions in the NFL, which is the quarterback position.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he just got it picked up today, actually, I saw.
Okay.
So he will be back for next year and the year after.
Yep. Yep.
There really
We'll
isn't
see.
any there really isn't anyone better to go to.
No.
You kind of got to just stick with him.
Yeah.
I
Hope
mean,
he continues to improve.
he
You mentioned Puka and his game.
yeah.
I was watching the game. I obviously saw Puka and Devontae on one side. On the other side, the two receivers kind of reminded me of Puka and Devontae and Tet and Jalen Coker.
Yeah, Coker had a great game as well. I think he
He
put up
did.
very similar numbers to Puka.
Yep. And he's a
So,
big physical receiver, plays mostly out of the slot. He can also line up outside. McMillan is more of the outside the numbers, number one receiver like Devontae is. They, I think, have something definitely there for the future. And it is funny that Coker was undrafted.
yeah,
Crazy that they found him. And they drafted Leggett, who hasn't
yeah,
necessarily proved himself yet.
he didn't do much in
Um,
that game.
no, he didn't. He got a pass interference in the end
Yeah,
zone, so that was nice. But Jalen Coker and Tedero McMillan, I think, can be similar to Puka and Devontae and be a very good tandem for a long time.
oh, absolutely. I think the Panthers' biggest problem this game was just their run, like
Right.
the ball.
Yep.
Couldn't really get anything going there. Rico Dabo,
Rico, he made a tweet.
yeah,
He
he was
tweeted
not too happy.
he quote tweeted someone who was talking about I guess yards before contact.
Yeah,
And I guess he's a free agent, so he doesn't really care anymore. But I don't know. I guess when he's in the locker room, he must be a team player because they were all rallying around him when he was running well. But for him to just right after the season ends, go ahead and basically trash on his offensive line. I don't think it's a great look, but I
Not at
mean,
all.
he
But
obviously isn't coming back.
yeah, it was weird. He was so good there in the middle of the season,
Yep.
and it just been downhill, I guess.
Yeah.
It felt like even once Chuba came back, they still used Rico a lot and
Yeah.
kind of gave up on him.
Yep. Gave up on him
Mm.
in that game for sure. Yeah. I think the next game is the Bears and the Packers. And before getting to that, just there were three quarterbacks in this wild card round, particularly Bryce, Caleb, and Trevor, all number one picks, and all of had interesting, I guess, development so far throughout their careers. Bryce, like we just said, they showed a graphic on TV that was a little a little scary. I think it was it wasn't good. The first two seasons of his career, obviously not good numbers and record. And then this year it was better, but I think the record was still a losing record, which was
Yeah,
like how, I mean, I guess it shows improvement, but you're still not where you want to be, especially as a number one pick. And then for Trevor, he has had a bunch of different coaches. Urban Meyer was not a good fit.
yeah,
And that I think kind of stopped his development for a year. And that's tough to overcome, but he has. And there were people who were talking about the same thing that Bryce Young is being talked about. Are we going to extend this guy? Is he going to be around for the long haul? I think he's done enough to show that. And then for Caleb, uh, he's still young, younger than these two. But even him, like a lot of question marks still. But I think it's important, just given all three of these guys and how they played, they are in the playoffs. And I think it's important for teams to give their quarterbacks time because there's a reason why teams are with the number one pick. Like, it's not because, I mean, in the Bears case a few years ago, they traded for a pick that was valuable and then they were able to get up to one. But for the Panthers and for the Jaguars, they weren't good.
yeah,
And for you to expect to take a quarterback and all of a sudden everything changes, that's not how it works in football.
yeah. I mean, the Jaguars were picking first overall back-to-back years.
Yep.
It's, I
And they
mean,
didn't do anything to help the offense. They drafted Trayvon instead of any offensive line help or anything like that. And it's uh, whoever was on the call for the Bears game, and we can get into that next.
mm,
He was talking about how in year one, Caleb was looking at his first read, and I don't remember who was on the call for that game, but Caleb was looking at his first read, and then he would get off of it, roll out, and try to make something happen by himself. And then this year, it's been different, where he's getting to one read, getting to the next read. But I thought to myself, like, they invested heavy in the offensive line this season. There's a reason why he doesn't feel as though he needs to roll out. And the same can be said about Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, all three of them. They have improved teams now, and because of that, you're seeing more success.
yeah, the Bears went out, drafted. They've been attacking the offensive line in the
Yep.
draft, free
Yep.
agency.
Yeah.
It's just something that if you're not going after year, you're doing a disservice to the team and the quarterback as a whole.
100%.
Just, I mean, you look at like Joe Burrow a couple of years ago when they made it to the Super Bowl. It
Yep.
really takes like an anomaly season to
Yeah.
overcome such a bad
Yep.
offensive line.
Cam Ward this year too. He's the most sacked
Yeah,
quarterback in the NFL. It's a correlation. It's not by accident that the number one pick, when you take a quarterback, tends to get sacked the most. And I'm sure, like, obviously, they're used to having more time in college and the NFL's different, but it's still, there's something to be said for them getting pressured so constantly because the team is just not built to be a contender yet. And that's okay. Teams just need to be patient as the Panthers, the Bears, and the Jaguars have been, and they'll eventually reap the rewards of getting the number one quarterback.
yeah. So, do we want to jump into some of that Bears Packers game now?
Yeah, we can do it. I think what a game that was. As I said, Caleb, he has question marks. especially in the accuracy department. He, I think, had the lowest completion percentage in the regular season, and that reared its ugly head again in this game, where he just had some pretty awful easy misses, but then he made some throws where it was like, oh my God, this guy, he's a guy.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of those like flashy moments,
Yep.
somehow making a throw, but sometimes just those easy ones, it just misses it or I
Yeah.
don't know what goes wrong, but definitely doesn't look like a top five quarterback
No.
on
No.
the easy stuff. But you get him out in space,
Hmm.
really making an athletic play,
Yep.
and he's really capable of being a top quarterback, no doubt.
100%. And we obviously we'll talk baseball in an episode to come, but I thought it was like almost storybook how the sequence of events occurred in that game. First, Bregman signs with Chicago, and I think they were still down 21 to 3 or
Yeah,
21 to 6.
yeah, it was
Um,
21-3 when that happened.
yeah, so Bregman signs, so Chicago gets something, and that'll be their prize, despite being a loss to their division rival in the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, it's like Bregman signed, and everything started to go right in Chicago.
Yeah, it was a wild game there.
It was.
21-3 at halftime. It
Yep.
just all you got to do, you figure score one to two more touchdowns, just
Yep.
run out some clock.
Hmm.
Even if you allow a few touchdowns, like you're feeling good if you're the Packers here.
Yeah.
You got Jordan Love playing good. The run game really didn't get much going there with Josh Jacobs,
No.
but still, it's at the end of the day, going into halftime, you got to trust your guys,
Hmm.
and they just couldn't do it.
No.
The onside kick, turning
Yeah.
the ball over, like,
Wasn't good. And Caleb had a few beautiful throws. The fourth down throw to Adunze,
mhm.
like he threw it in the middle of three guys and it landed right into Dunze's chest pretty much. That was a beautiful throw. I think I want to know what you think about this. I see a lot of similarities between Kevin O'Connell and Ben Johnson in the sense that I think the Bears are overachieving this year. Um, the fact that they've came back from this many fourth quarter deficits is, I don't think, realistic and unsustainable. And I'm sure he would say the same thing because he is a little bit psychotic. But I think if we go back to O'Connell's first like 2 or 3 years, they had a negative point differential and they finished with like 14 wins.
Yeah,
So I think both of them are great coaches, but the Bears could win the Super Bowl this year, and I think they're going to regress heavily. I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs next year, similar to how O'Connell's Vikings didn't make the playoffs the year after they won. I think it was 14 games or whatever.
yeah.
So,
I think that first Kevin O'Connell season you're referencing may be the one where the Giants actually beat them in the playoffs.
yes, yeah,
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 just winning all those close one score games, like in the year, it's like, yeah, we're playing good. A lot of trust in the team, knowing never to give up, proven in this
yep,
game as well, down 21-3 at halftime. But yeah,
yep,
it's definitely not sustainable. It's one play call differently, one poorly executed play, and you're
yep.
losing half those games.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
that's true.
even in this game, down 21-3, it's like all the Packers have to do is recover the onside kick. And we're
Right.
talking about this differently, probably.
Yeah,
It's, some of it's luck. He's definitely a great coach,
yeah,
but it's just, I believe they play the Rams next, so that'll definitely be an interesting game.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's at home again, which I guess bodes well for them. The Rams played in a sloppy Carolina where it was raining and disgusting, and
yeah.
I don't know if that matters to them when they play in SoFi in a dome and it's always beautiful there.
Mhm.
Um, But I mean, if you look at the Panthers game, you could say the Rams are beatable from the Bears' perspective, and obviously they're going to go in any game thinking that they're going to win.
Yeah.
But I think for the Packers, my last note I have on them is I would assume, given all the coaching changes that have happened, and we'll get more into those later, uh, I see Jeff Hafley probably going to Miami.
Yeah.
Um, his disguises at the line of scrimmage were awesome, and I think it gave Caleb a lot of trouble in the first half. He eventually figured it out, and I think Ben Johnson schemed up a lot of different stuff. But I think Halfley and his disguisers are going to go to Miami. And I'm kind of surprised that the Packers are extending LaFleur so soon because obviously he has a lot of regular season success and he's been deep into the postseason, but he hasn't necessarily gotten the big win yet.
Yeah, definitely. Even with Aaron Rodgers, they never quite got over the hump there. Just definitely always competitive team. You know the offenses are going to play well,
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. They just kind of they haven't been able to put it together in the postseason under him really at all.
no, yeah. And I say Halfley goes to the Dolphins just because they hired one of the Packers front office
Yeah,
personnel. He's
saw that.
got three names. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but um, they were going to keep McDaniel, and then they asked the now GM of the Dolphins what he wanted to do, and he said he had someone else in mind. I have to assume that Halfley's one of those guys.
Yeah, he for sure. We had an interview down there. He did a great job with the defense, but losing Micah Parsons definitely hurt them as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think that could go into why, because most of the core I'm going to assume is around there for a while, and if you just continue to build with LaFleur and keep things consistent, I'm sure that'll bode well in the future.
Yeah, so
And then we've got now turning to Sunday, the Bills and the Jaguars. I think obviously a lot was made of that one reporter being very nice to Liam
yeah,
Cohen, and I think he honestly deserved it. I know just having a journalism background, that's not something you're supposed to do as a beat reporter, and you're supposed to stay neutral, but it doesn't hurt to be nice. And like I said, I think Cohen definitely deserved it. He did a hell of a job in year one of this thing, and like I mentioned earlier, Trevor has continued to improve, and they're set up for success in the future.
yeah, definitely. I saw that with the reporter. I personally didn't mind it. I think that Jags team as a whole overachieved this year
Okay,
in year one. I personally am not too high on Trevor Lawrence. He's
sure.
definitely continued to improve, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the lack of like postseason success or
Yeah,
whatever. Maybe obviously not all on him either.
right.
The team around him
Yeah,
hasn't always been the best. Felt
no.
like this year they really had a chance with that defense.
Yeah,
Losing
Campanelli, he
Travis
did a good
Hunter,
job. Yep.
losing Travis Hunter definitely hurt them. You know, the second overall pick there. But I mean, Parker Washington out
Yes.
of nowhere really just
Yep.
he's
That's what I have
flourished.
written down. I have the rise of Parker Washington, and he's incredible. He's really, really good. And I do think that it helps having just the name of Brian Thomas Jr. on the outside and adding Jacoby Myers. It definitely opens things up for Parker. Not to say that
Absolutely.
he's not good by himself. I'm sure he would be able to have success, but the amount of success that he had and the amount of times he was able to get open, I think it helps having a competent core of receivers, which on the other side, the the Bills are just doing it with a bunch of guys who I don't think personally they should be. I mean, they're making it happen, so I can't really say
Yeah.
anything about them, but it's not what you would expect.
Yeah, like outside of Khalil Shakir there and James
Yeah.
Cook, like really those are the two main weapons, and then you
Yep.
got Dalton Kincaid,
Yep.
and I guess Dawson Knox,
Hmm.
even this late in his career, is probably their fourth option.
Yep.
Like Keon Coleman, that just really hasn't worked out well for either side there.
Yep.
Gabe Davis got hurt, right?
Yep. Yep. He's
And
out. I think
just
he's out for the rest of the
yeah.
playoffs.
So
Brandon
they're
Cook's making a resurgence
yeah,
at whatever age he's at now, which is crazy. But I mean, we talk about all of these quarterbacks who they don't have enough around them to make it happen, and then Josh, I guess, is just at a point where it doesn't matter what he's got. He's gonna keep his team in games, and I think obviously their offensive line is a lot better than most teams, and that's what allows for him to kind of I mean, even still, like you could have a great offensive line if you don't have guys who are getting open, you can't really do much. He kind
Yeah,
of throws people open. It's crazy.
yeah, definitely wild. And then just his ability to run as well.
Yep.
Just you
Yep.
can never take that out of the equation. It
No.
looked like he got banged up there a couple times.
Hmm.
Then you start getting nervous. It's like obviously Mitch Trubisky, if he comes in, you don't love your odds in that game anymore.
Right.
But he just keeps going out there, keeps fighting. He hit his fingers or whatever on
Yeah.
an offensive lineman's helmet,
Yep.
got slammed down pretty hard running into the end zone.
Yeah. That's how he plays, though. That's
He's
how
just a
Josh
guy that
plays.
he's going to leave it all out there for his team.
Yeah.
If there's one year that the Bills could do it, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of talk. Like this has got to be that year. No Lamar, no Mahomes. Like this is the year for Josh to go do it. And then hopefully they could, bring in another weapon to help him out. Because it would be nice to see someone that,
We've said that for so many years now. Let's get Josh Allen another receiver. And they, I guess, don't feel like they have to, and they're kind of right.
yeah, I mean, they make the offense work. But I mean, how fun would it be if he was just throwing theoretically to like a Jamar Chase,
Yep.
running down the field, just launching the ball 60 yards?
Yeah.
Just, I guess it's not something they currently think they need or
Yeah.
could realistically get. But I mean, they played well. The run defense is definitely going to have to figure it out because the
Yep.
Jags were just running at will.
Yep. And then they stopped, which was
Yeah. Then they
bizarre.
decided to just rely on Trevor Lawrence. I don't know why they decided to stop running the ball.
Yep.
I mean, when Tootin went in there, I think every run he had was over 10 yards. ETN ran the ball great. It just felt like I don't know, I don't understand why they would abandon something working so well.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure either, but they did. And speaking of, you said the Bills are, it seems like it's almost destined for them to be their year. I would say the polar opposite of that is probably out of any Super Bowl appearance that they've already made, and they're still in it this year. The m least likely to win the Super Bowl this year, I think, is the 49ers. And as a 49ers fan, it sucks to say, but it seems like every time something goes right, something also goes wrong. In this case, the Kittle injury, despite winning the game, that's a big blow. But the nice thing is that they've done this all year. Um, Tondras has played well in Kittle's absence, and I think I don't know, we'll see. But I am impressed with both Shanahan and Saleh, how they've just, regardless of who they have, they've put the pieces together. Salah's got Eric Kendricks and a guy I've never even seen on the field before, and I watch every game. They're playing linebacker, and the other guy, I unfortunately don't remember his name at the moment, but he played his ass off. He played a really good game. Kendricks played well as well. Um, and they just did what they needed to do to win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just an absolute coaching masterclass out of both of them.
Yep.
I mean, Jalen Hurts had less than like 150 passing yards.
Yep.
Right around there, it's like they couldn't get anything going. Just, yeah, I mean, I think they're on like their fifth, sixth, and seventh string linebackers.
Yep. Yep.
No Nick Bosa.
Nope.
I mean, just everyone you think of when you think of 49ers is hurt other than
Yep.
McCaffrey and Brock Purdy.
Yeah. And McCaffrey's yeah, I mean, thank God he's still healthy. And you know what? I think Brian Robinson, he's not obviously as talented as McCaffrey, but Shanahan would find a way to make use of him as well. At this point, like I actually am confident in saying that, as crazy as it sounds, because he's just done it with everyone. And um, you mentioned most of the guys, they were without their supposedly number one receiver the whole year.
Yeah.
Ayuk didn't play, and Pearsall, their number two, who they drafted, he barely played either because he's been hurt. And in the games that he did play, he looked good, but just at this point, it's almost like, all right, well, we've dealt with this the whole year, and guys who aren't typically getting a chance, I think obviously the playoffs are enough adrenaline already, but for you to be able to play in a game where you're not expected to play, I think adds even more excitement and eagerness to go out there and put good film on tape. And every single one of those guys did that.
Yeah, well, it's hard to imagine them really winning it all with their depleted roster. At the same time, you got to feel good about what they've been able to do and can hopefully continue doing. I mean, Purdy hit through two interceptions
Yep.
again, playing against a great defense
Yep.
in the Eagles, right? And still able to score 23. Their
Yes.
explosive plays were there to Demarcus
Yep.
Robinson.
Yep.
I forgot the other big one.
They had DeMarcus hit one, and then I'm trying to think.
Oh,
I
maybe
don't.
Juwan Jennings hit one.
Oh yes, Jawan Jennings had the catch, and then he ran
Yeah,
not across the field, but he caught it in the middle of the field and ran towards the
yeah.
sideline. That was a big
So I
play as
mean,
well. And Jawan with the roughing the passer, he called it an and one. That play was insane. That was a signature Shanahan play. He set that up. Uh, they had a jet sweep that was ran at the end of the third quarter. I think two plays prior to that, the quarter ended, and then the first play of the fourth, they had time to set it up, and they executed it perfectly. They got the right look that they wanted, and Jawan made an incredible throw. But they set that up with the Sky Moore jet sweep two plays or three plays prior in the third, and then they came right back to it. Jet sweep to Sky. Sky pitched it to Jawan, and then everyone bit. And I'm kind of surprised that they bit because it seemed like they were in position, and then Jawan, it looked like he was going to throw the ball, and then he tucked it for a few seconds, and I guess everyone at that point bit. McCaffrey leaked out, and a beautiful catch by him too.
oh yeah. I mean, at this point, they're just gonna go as far as McCaffrey can take them.
Yeah,
What it feels like,
yeah. I
they're
mean, even McCaffrey, but also the Shanahan and Saleh, however far
yeah,
they can coach them up, which is crazy to think. Like, obviously, coaching matters a ton in the NFL as opposed to maybe some other sports. But at the end of the day, the players are still playing, and there you have guys out there who barely have NFL snaps, or at least NFL snaps within the last 2 or 3 years, who are playing prominent roles. Um, and it's just crazy to see. And I think it would be almost funny if they were to win the Super Bowl this year, considering the teams that they've had in the past where they've fell short in that game.
yeah. I think their defense also like just as a whole. I mean, you stop the run good enough. Saquon
Yep.
obviously
Yep.
this thing, but I mean, I don't know how you think of Jalen Hurts. I'm not too high on him, but
Yeah.
pass defense regardless. There's AJ Brown, Devontae
Right.
Smith.
I think
I don't think they have the weapons, and
yeah,
when
some
you're
of it
able
I
to lock
think
everyone up,
some of it I think has to do with Patullo.
yeah,
I don't know uh how much that inhibits Hurts because like you said they have Brown and Smith, but it doesn't really seem like they're drawing anything up to really get them open. And I was watching, I don't remember who I was watching, but there was an analyst that said on TV the next day, like a little Monday morning quarterback, he said that the fourth down play looked like a just four verticals concept. And it's like,
yeah,
that's not what you want as the play to save your season, because it's easy to defend. And then on the other side, Saleh did everything he could to make it look like he was sending pressure. He kept everyone at the line, dropped his backers back, and had an intricate defense that is what I would expect for a fourth down. This is the season play, as opposed to on the other side where we're running just a basic
yeah,
four verts and nothing really interesting within the whole route.
yeah. Definitely like where the 49ers were able to do there. So if we want to
Do you
hop
think
in,
AJ's gone?
I don't think he can. I think his cap hit is like 70 million
Okay.
if he were to be traded. So
It's an interesting locker room,
definitely is. I mean,
but they win games
yeah, that's what I
despite
don't
all of
get.
that. So I don't know. We'll see.
I think they got to just fire the OC and just
Yes. Yes.
figure the offense out a little. I mean, that
Yep.
defense is locked down for the most part.
Yep, yep. Howie Roseman's done a great job. And funny enough, Sirianni was the one that hired Patullo,
Mhm.
whereas before, Roseman was the one that hired Kellen Moore.
Okay.
So I would imagine that Roseman puts his hands back in the mix and
Yeah.
has a little bit more say, and instead of letting Sirianni do all of the make all of the decisions, I should say. But you said that Patullo should be fired in the next game if we want to move to that.
Yep.
Um, One of the OCs has been fired. Greg
Yeah.
Roman is gone after the Chargers lost to the Patriots on Sunday night, which I think is telling because Harbaugh is known to be very loyal to who he has on staff. He goes down fighting. I remember when he was in San Francisco and Roman was on that staff. Um, they were adamant about getting his staff out of the building, and he wouldn't do it. And he stayed on for a little bit longer than they did, but eventually um, he was let go as well. But it speaks to just who he is as a coach and as a person. He's very loyal to who he has on his staff. And for him to let go of Greg Roman and the O-line coach, I think says a lot about how the offense was ran. And granted, they had their two tackles who are,
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, bearing any injuries in the future, they can become Pro Bowl or All
Yeah.
Pro guys. So it was tough for Roman to overcome that. And even I think their backups were getting hurt. They were in a similar position to the 49ers. But the 49ers have made it work. Roman couldn't figure it out. And so he's gone.
Yeah.
And the Patriots did what you would expect. And they pressured Herbert a ton. I think Vrabel blitzed the most he has all season, which is what you should do. And he did a nice job.
Yeah, I think the Patriots defense ended up getting 6 sacks on Herbert.
Yep.
I mean, they had no run game.
No,
Hampton was out there for
two
two
plays.
plays. He had
Yeah.
-1 rushing yards.
Yep.
I mean, Vidal, like he was fighting for every yard he got.
Yep.
I mean, he's getting the ball put in his chest and then immediately getting hit.
Yep.
It's just tough to run an offense like that,
Yep.
especially when your receivers just aren't getting open.
Not a recipe for success. No.
I mean, Quinn and Johnston never were able to find him deep or anything.
Yes.
Lad
Yeah.
McConkey was never open. Seems
No.
like Keenan Allen was his go-to guy,
Yep.
and even hit like he's at this point in his career probably not who you want to be relying on.
Yep. 100%.
And
Yeah.
Gadsden, the tight end, even like just the Patriots were covering everything.
Yep.
Mekhi Becton, the guy who played a key part of the Eagles Super Bowl last year,
Hmm.
but they're on that Chargers offensive line, not really doing well this year.
Yep.
So losing both your tackles,
Tough.
starters just aren't playing good. It's just not a recipe for success for Justin Herbert there.
Yeah, and I think you hit on something important because, as we had mentioned, the Bills, they're just doing it with scraps at the skill position group. And then the Chargers, they have multiple high-end guys, and we can't create any separation. I'm sure, I mean, the Patriots secondary played a great game, obviously, but got to get open for Herbert at some point, you would
Mhm.
expect. And maybe that has to do again with Roman's concepts and just really nothing that gets people open, as much as it all goes hand in hand. But I think their receiving core compared to the Bills, if you were to give Josh Allen the Chargers receiving core of Johnston, McConkey, and Keenan Allen, and then you give Herbert, Shakir, and others,
Yeah,
which Shakir, I mean, on that receiving core would probably be the fourth best wide, not maybe
yeah,
not the fourth, but he would be the third best, I guess, above Keenan.
yeah.
But it's
But even
yeah,
his
not
workload
good.
there, it would be split with like Lad McConkey theoretically.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
No,
So,
I don't know why they aren't scheming up some plays, even like they run for Shakir, those little bubble screens or
yep.
something.
Yeah.
There really wasn't much working on offense there.
I now that you say that, they ran a bubble like I think on the first drive with Johnston, and it's like that's your deep ball guy. Why are
Yeah,
we doing that with him? That should be a play for Ladd. So there's, in my opinion, some disconnect there. But the Patriots, they played well.
yep,
I think similar with the other AFC wildcard game, kind of tough to gauge how well they played because of their opponent.
yeah,
They didn't really get much, I guess, pushback for the most part. But Drake May has room to improve in his first playoff start.
definitely.
He didn't play great compared to how he's played all season as an MVP level quarterback. He missed the throw to Hooper in the end zone. And he
Couple
was just
interceptions,
okay.
I think, or
Yeah.
maybe one interception and a
Which the
fumble.
Chargers defense, again,
Oh,
very good defense. Minter is going to probably be a head coach somewhere.
mhm.
And they have talent on that side of the ball. They have talent on both sides of the ball, and they've had talent on both sides of the ball for a few years now.
Yeah.
So hopefully the next OC that they hire is able to figure it out. Because I personally really like Herbert. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think if I'm the Patriots coming away from this game, I'm definitely a little upset with how we've played, like how we
Yeah.
played. The offensive line didn't do a very good job. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson had a great game, over
Mm-hmm.
120 cumulative yards,
Yep.
a lot of that being from the receiving end.
Yeah. And one play on the receiving
Yeah,
end too,
like even that, like the offense wasn't really functioning too well. You know, there was a lot of spreading the ball around, nothing too great. Like if I'm the Patriots, there's a lot you got to figure out this week because
for sure.
if you thought this game was hard, you're going up against the best defense in the NFL next week.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Yeah. And I think that's a perfect transition to the last game, which was last night. We're recording this on Tuesday. Uh, the Texans and the Steelers. The Texans pretty brutally beat the Steelers. And because of that, Mike Tomlin, after what, 19 years,
19 years there.
he has decided to step down. But we could start with the Texans because I think there's less there to talk about, which is funny because they won. But um, they feel like they are clicking at the right time. And it's funny because I think everyone is clicking except for CJ, who is
Yeah,
the quarterback of that team. But their run game was non-existent to begin the year, mainly because they didn't really have any running backs. Um, and now it's working. Again, the Steelers, similar to the Chargers, it's tough to kind of gauge. But I think the Steelers defense is good.
I mean, the score of that game tells a different story than how it felt.
Right.
Going into the fourth quarter, it was 7-6 Texans.
Yep.
Like the defense was doing a great job. They had forced multiple turnovers.
Yep.
Like the Texans were definitely going against a good defensive team.
Yeah.
Just, I guess Aaron Rodgers, that offense, the offensive line.
Not, yeah.
It's like I don't know how much of the blame is necessarily on the Steelers, or is it just the Texans defense is that good?
Yeah, I think the Texans defense is humming. Everyone knows that they're an elite squad. They just need CJ to catch up with the rest of the team at this point. I feel like there was a lot of talk about the offensive line and how it struggled. They didn't necessarily play incredibly yesterday, but like I said, they got a bunch of yards on the ground. Um, and the run game is now apparent where it wasn't before. If you can get CJ to play like he has shown flashes of in previous seasons and in previous games this year, Texans are scary.
Absolutely. I mean, even I think some of their biggest problems were just CJ maybe not looking the ball in.
Yep.
One of the snaps he wasn't even looking. Like, they just got to clean up some of that. I
Yeah.
mean, the environment's not going to get any easier going on the road,
Right.
Foxborough, but
Yep.
just clean it up a little.
Yeah, for sure. And
Most of
then
those problems are avoidable.
the Steelers, like we had said, there's a lot of meat on that bone. Tomlin is gone after 19 seasons, and in my opinion, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely was time for a change there, I think.
Yeah, it ends a cycle of, I guess, it's not mediocrity because he is notoriously known for never having a losing season, but in that same realm, he would either make the playoffs, come a game short, and then typically lose in the first round of the playoffs. And honestly, not really his own, like he's doing what he's supposed to. He's winning games, but at the same time, it's a detriment in a sense because they can't get any high-end talent from the draft. They're always picking somewhere in the middle. You obviously have to hit your picks in the middle of the draft in the middle rounds. Um, but I think now it gives them a chance to reset potentially. It'll be interesting to see who they hire too.
Yeah, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better there. I think just the culture he had established, everything there,
Yeah,
it contributed to there was they were you knew they were good for a winning record.
Yep,
I think he
for
was on a
sure.
7 game playoff losing streak, I saw.
Yep.
So obviously not doing much after that, but always a competitive division with the Bengals, with Joe Burrow,
Hmm.
Ravens.
Yes, the division with now only one coach remaining in Zach Taylor, which is probably the least expected of the group if you were to go back 3 years or
Yeah,
maybe
definitely.
prior to the Super Bowl.
Definitely got to thank Joe Burrow for keeping his job there.
100%, yes. And the Bengals ownership for being cheap and not wanting to make any changes because it costs money.
Yeah, but
He's in a nice spot. He is. But I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the team is, it's a veteran laden team. And I wonder if maybe some of the, uh,
we got a
I
lot
don't
of
think that,
holes to
yeah,
fill
I
in.
don't think that like, obviously you could move TJ Watt and you'll probably get a pretty good return for it, but I just don't think that the fan base would be happy if you were to move on from him. The same, I guess, can be said for Cam Hayward, but a
Yeah.
lot of those guys have been there for a long time. Maybe Highsmith is a guy that they move,
Mhm.
but I don't think the roster is at a level where it's enough to be elite and competitive and a contender. But I also don't think it's a roster where you're going to be at the bottom of the barrel and you can
Yeah.
completely rebuild.
I think the biggest thing comes down to who's playing quarterback for them next year.
Sure.
Did we see Rodgers' last throw ever being a pick six?
Right. Yeah.
Is he back on the Steelers? Is he back somewhere else? Like, what's going to end up happening with him, I think is a big thing because there's not any immediate good options to play quarterback next year. Russ will be a free agent.
They're not going back to
They're
him.
not going back to him. Like, you're not going to trade for Kyler. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that would work too well there.
Malik, I think, is the most intriguing guy. If I'm
Yeah.
not him and I guess Kirk.
Yeah.
But
I think Kirk will still be under contract, though.
really,
Well, I mean, maybe he can get cut or
yeah.
traded, but I think he still has 1 more year.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. The Steelers are definitely in a lot of uncertainty surrounding them, which is weird to say because they were probably one of the most constant franchises and organizations within the NFL. And now, I mean, just because a coach is gone, you don't know what's next. But yeah, it's interesting. Zach Taylor, the only guy in the AFC North that remains as the head coach. Everyone else is gone, and I wonder if any of the coaches who are fired maybe go to a different team, but in the same division.
Do you think John Harbaugh can make any sense there? Or...
It's possible. I don't. I mean, he understands it. Like he gets it more than I think most coaches would. Um, I think again with a veteran laden team, you don't want to go for a young up and coming coordinator for that position, and you'd rather have someone who's a veteran, understands what a locker room should be like, and has prior head coaching experience.
Yeah, the two arguable two top head coaching candidates, both coming from that division. It would
Yeah.
definitely be interesting.
Is Tomlin, I don't know if there's anything that's came out about this yet, but he's going to continue being a head coach, or do we not know yet?
I think I saw he was potentially going to TV, potentially
Okay,
something with Fox.
sure.
If he wanted to be a coach, it's a similar to Sean Payton, where
Got to get
the
traded.
Steelers still have his rights, so he's gonna have to get
Sure.
traded.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, listen, TV, I think is probably paying better than coaching anyway, and it's less
Definitely.
stressful. So good for Mikey T. He's
Yeah.
definitely deserving of that. He won't be playing next week in the divisional matchups, which start on Saturday. We could get into that and just give quick picks.
Yeah.
We have the Bills and the Broncos. The Broncos are currently favored at 1.5, which actually flipped from the Bills being favored
Mm.
at 1.5 to open. Who do you like there, and what do you think about the current spread?
I was surprised to see the Bills open as favorites
Okay.
after what I thought was a relatively sloppy game from them against the
Yep.
Jaguars. And then I personally do like the Bills to win and cover. I don't know what it is. It just something about Josh Allen. I'm not going to pick against him. I think
Sure.
he can overcome whatever he's going to face. I think it's going to be a tough task against that Broncos defense. But I don't know, something about the Broncos offense with Bo Nix. Maybe it feels a season too early for them to make that final push.
Right.
They got lucky being the first seed.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, they won a bunch of games. I think there's a lot of one score close games there that they've won throughout the year.
Yep.
And it just comes down to, at the end of the day in the playoffs, I'm picking Josh Allen over Bo Nix.
Okay. So you would take the Bills as a now underdog.
Yeah, I would.
Interesting. Even with the concern of them opening as a favorite. Okay.
Yeah,
I think I'm also on your side. 1.5 is really a
yeah.
pick 'em for the most part. Um, the only concern I think I have is that defensive line for the Broncos is very, very good.
Mhm.
I could see Benito and Allen and the rest of the defensive line uh, being game wreckers, but at the same time, like Josh Allen, he has no problem with that for the most part. And we'll see. I think the Bills have the experience, and they have the best player in that game, which is Josh. So I will be going with the Bills as well. And then the late game is the Niners and the Seahawks. It's at -7 for the Seahawks. It got up to 8, back down to 7, which was the opening line.
Yeah, so there, unfortunately, I do like the Seahawks to cover.
Really?
I like the Seahawks to win, actually, I should say. I like the
Okay.
49ers to cover.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
it's just take the, with them getting the bye coming off, everyone, I think they're getting some returning players.
Hmm.
I think they're just, I had my doubts in that week 18 game where I
Yep.
thought the 49ers were going to win.
Yep.
I just didn't trust Sam Darnold, but you know what? He did it then. The 49ers have only gotten worse,
Yep.
medically losing
More
George
de
Kittle.
more depleted
Seahawks,
for sure.
Seahawks with the week off, I like them rested up. I think it's going to be a low scoring game,
Okay.
and I think the 49ers can and will cover this.
Hmm.
Just comes down to can they do enough with that depleted team to win? And that's
Sure.
why I think the Seahawks would win the game, but 49ers to cover.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the Niners to cover. 7 is, I think, a ridiculous total considering it was 13-3 in the previous game. And yes, the Seahawks covered, but McCaffrey dropped a ball around the 4. Um, and that could have been a touchdown. And then all of a sudden, the Niners cover that game easily. If the spread were to be 7 and the game repeated itself, all you need is a touchdown from the Niners, and then the Niners cover that by 4. Um, but I think. As pessimistic as I may be as a fan of the 49ers, they couldn't have played really much worse as an offense against the Seahawks. So I think there's plenty of room to improve, and I expect improvement despite Kittle being gone. I think obviously Seattle is a very tough place to play that's well documented, and I'm obviously on the Niners +7. I think that's pretty easy, which maybe is not a good thing because I think it's easy. But I think there's a way for them to win the game. I didn't expect them to win the game last week against Philly. I thought it was going to play out a lot like Seattle, but the offense did enough to score. Shanahan's going to have to dial up some crazy plays again to get the momentum on his side. I don't think what is nice about Seattle that Philly doesn't have is that Philly fans are going to go against their team, and Seattle, I think, will remain behind or remain backing the Seahawks the whole time. Philly was booing the Eagles when
Yeah.
they were up, and I don't think that's going to happen in Seattle. Uh, but I will go with the Niners, and I'm not going to say who I think is going to win,
Right?
but
Just the Niners
but
cover.
yeah, Niners will cover that game.
Okay. I like that.
And then on Sunday, the first game is the Texans versus the Patriots. Opened at 3 for the Patriots. Now it's -3.5 for the Patriots.
Yeah, so I did bet immediately.
Okay,
I didn't know how the line was going to go.
sure.
I like the Texans to win, and I like them to cover.
Wow.
I think that the line being what it is, I
Hmm.
think. if it was up to me, I would have it be a pick 'em,
Okay.
be a 1.5 spread. I don't think you could go from watching how that Patriots offense played against the Chargers and really think even if it stayed how they played against the Chargers, the Texans are just so much better defensively, I think. They're just in a
Hmm.
league of their own. And it just the Chargers couldn't do anything on offense. The Texans at least were able to run the ball. The pass, like CJ Stroud played about as bad as he could, and they had the lead for a majority of the game. Like they were never out of it. It just I don't trust CJ entirely, but I think just with that defense, and I think Drake May is just its second playoff game. It's new for him, new for a lot of the guys on that team. I just don't think their offensive line is going to hold up when it comes to it. And then also with Christian Gonzalez and the concussion
Yep.
protocol, if he doesn't clear, that's a big reason why no one was getting open.
Hmm.
Losing him, yeah, Nico Collins also being in the concussion protocol isn't great, but he didn't do much against the Steelers anyway.
Right.
It was a Christian Kirk game from start to finish there.
Yep.
Not that I would rely on that, but I definitely like the Texans to win this.
Hmm.
Just defense wins championships, and at this time of the year, I just the best defense in football, I think, finds a way to get it done.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you who you think is a bigger detriment, either Gonzalez or Collins being inactive. Obviously, you think Gonzalez, and I was kind of leaning towards Collins. But yeah, Kirk, he played very well. But the problem, I mean, one of the Texans' issues all year was like they weren't getting enough out of their second tier wide receivers behind Collins. They have Jaden Higgins, Xavier Hutchinson, and they never got production out of them. So I thought, I still do think Collins being out would be a big loss to the Texans, but I don't know if the Patriots can. I don't know how many points they can score against that defense.
Yeah, exactly.
The so I think the Texans being underdogs and getting 3.5 points, I'll definitely take that. I think it can easily be within a field goal game. Um, Maybe I buy a hook and then get it up to +4.
Mhm.
Um, but I definitely will take the Texans to cover there. So I have picked every underdog so far.
Yeah, I think I have as well, I guess, with the Bills flipping.
Yeah.
Definitely 49ers spread. Texans, I like outright. I don't know. It
All right.
just, we'll see how it goes.
Hey, I'm pretty sure the public went 4-0 last week.
Yeah,
So
they're 6-0, 6-0.
6-0. Okay. So,
And they were definitely on some underdogs there.
yeah, definitely. So the last game is a interesting game. The line movement, it started at Rams -4. It's back to Rams -4. It dropped to a pick 'em, which I'm going to assume is because of Stafford's finger. But it seems as though he'll be playing, so the line's back to -4, and they'll be playing the Bears in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going 4 for 4 on the underdogs here.
Mm.
I like the Rams to cover and to win outright.
So
Uh,
you're going with the Rams.
yeah, I think just
Okay.
Stafford. I don't know if this is me being a little hopeful here. I think a Rams Super Bowl could be the way it ends,
Mm.
and Stafford going out on top. But I definitely think the Bears defense is legit. Most takeaways in the NFL.
Hmm.
They don't turn it over much. So it'll be interesting to see that. Stafford, as of late, I feel like has been turning it over more than he had all season.
Yep.
So he's definitely going to want to clean that up against a Bears team that is always going after the ball.
Hmm.
But I mean, Stafford, Puka, Devontae Adams. I mean, you got to just sometimes trust your guys.
Yep, for sure.
I think it could just come down to a Caleb Williams lack of experience in the postseason and just overall game wise compared to Stafford being the factor at the end. Um, the Rams defense is very good in their own right as
Hmm.
well. So
Yes.
I like it to be a close game. Definitely Rams to cover, and I think the Rams can pull it out at the end. Maybe
So
another
three
Stafford.
dogs. Three dogs and a favorite for you with the Rams at -4.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Um, hmm. I want to pick the Rams at -4, but I am hesitant to because the Bears have proven, I think, everyone wrong every single week. And every time it seems as though they're out of it, they somehow aren't. Um, I wonder what the line would have been like if the Rams handily took care of um, the Panthers,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna go. Let me take the Bears -4 or +4. I'm
Cool.
sorry, -4 would be a little absurd. I will take the Bears +4, and if it happens to be Bears -4, I said that also, but don't count it. Um, so yeah, Bears +4. So that's all four underdogs for me, which probably is gonna bite me, but we'll see.
I mean, a bunch of those games were all close this past weekend,
Yeah, 100%.
so you never know.
All right. Are there any final thoughts that you have here?
I think we're just hoping for another good weekend of football.
Last week was great. A lot of good games.
We're we're running out of football here. We got
True.
this weekend
Hmm.
conference championships and the Super Bowl left. We got to just enjoy it before it ends.
Will there be another non-quarterback passing touchdown this week?
I'm going to go with no to a passing touchdown, but I do think there will be at least one non-quarterback pass.
Okay. Fair. Fair. I like that. That's a good little hedge. And Tucker to the Mets?
Yeah, I saw they offered him 50 is apparently where their offer's at right now.
Yeah,
It should be
yeah.
coming to a close here soon.
Yeah. We'll
Well, it'll be
see.
interesting.
We'll see how that all unfolds. We'll eventually get into the hot stove when it gets hot. Along with the NBA trade deadline, we'll bring in a NBA expert, so to speak, eventually. But this was our first podcast. We're just, going with the flow. No name yet, but we just wanted to get our thoughts out there. And we hope to see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.